So we're thrilled to announce today that thanks to a grant from the Gaines Foundation and a new partnership with the University of Louisville, we are taking cultural competency to the next level. The JCPS Teachers CARDS program, which stands for Competency, Awareness, and Responsiveness to Diverse Students.
At Western, we have a large number of students from a variety of backgrounds, social, economic, and racial. But you know, I found here at Western Middle School, they did an excellent job of creating an environment of achievement. Today's program is pretty special to me because this is where I first started my teaching career. And one of my former students from Atherton High School is actually someone who's been accepted into the CARDS program. You will hear from her in just a few minutes. I want to thank the Gaines Foundation as well as the University of Louisville for partnering with JCPS. And like many other partnerships, we want to thank our superintendent for coordinating, developing, and enhancing those partnerships. And at this time, we want to hear from our superintendent, Dr. Donna Hargens.
Good morning. It's really a pleasure to be here for this very exciting announcement. And I want to recognize our board chair, Diane Porter. Thank you so much for being here with us. We all know that Jefferson County Public Schools is the most diverse district in Kentucky, and that our students speak more than 107 languages. But when I really think about it and look at these wonderful students from Western Middle, all of our 101 plus thousand students speak their own language because each one of them is unique. Because of this, providing increased cultural competence training to our teachers is part of Strategic Plan Vision 2015. So we're thrilled to announce today that thanks to a grant from the Gaines Foundation and a new partnership with the University of Louisville, we are taking cultural competency to the next level. The JCPS Teacher CARDS program, which stands for Competency, Awareness, and Responsiveness to Diverse Students. And that responsiveness part is really important. Not only do we need to know that they're different, but how are we going to respond to those differences? So these teachers have full tuition scholarships to receive a graduate certificate in diversity literacy and a master's degree in educational leadership. And this first cohort of teachers will start this fall. So while earning their diversity literacy certificate, our teachers will take classes on topics in history, social sciences, humanities, and philosophy. But creating an equitable society is a task for all of us. So they will not study this in isolation. They'll take classes with students from other graduate programs. Our teachers also will strengthen their classroom skills and learn to apply diversity literacy skills while earning their master's in educational leadership. But it gets better. The first JCPS Teachers CARDS program was only open to teachers that serve in our priority schools. And the 7 who were selected have agreed to remain in a JCPS priority school for 3 years after completion of this program. That is a powerful commitment to the students in priority schools. This ensures that the knowledge that our CARD teachers gain will be imparted to other teachers at the schools. So in the schools that need extra support, more educators will have the ability to reach more students. I want to thank the teachers who will make this possible. They are a diverse group themselves. They include middle and high school teachers and experience ranging from 1 to 10 years with JCPS, and specialties including math, language arts, social studies. So I would like the JCPS Teacher CARDS Cohort 1 members who are here today to please stand and to be recognized. Thank you very much. And I told them they're pioneers. But you know, we also want to thank Carl Thomas and the Gaines Foundation, without whom this program would not be possible. And of course, John Marshall, who is here in the audience, a JCPS Assistant Superintendent for Diversity, Equity, and Poverty. So he's worked hard to make sure that this is a reality. But you know who I really want to stop and recognize? A longtime partner, the University of Louisville, who continuously helps prepare our students. But we were so proud to work with Dr. Blaine Hudson, the former dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, and highly regarded member of the community, to envision this program. I know that he's not with us anymore, but I know that he would be particularly proud of this moment in time and to see his vision take action. So we are committed as a district to continuing the CARDS program into future cohorts. And we know that the program will have a positive impact on every teacher who participates, their coworkers, their school, and this district. But most importantly, it will benefit students like the ones here at Western Middle School. We may communicate in lots of different languages, but only one is spoken loudest at JCPS. That is the language that all JCPS students will graduate prepared, and that equity and equality are values that we hold, and inclusion for all students. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm David Owen, and I'm a professor of philosophy at University of Louisville, as well as director of diversity programs for the College of Arts and Sciences. It's a pleasure to be here today because the JCPS Teacher Cards program is very near and dear to me. Today I want to publicly recognize the incredible work of our former Arts and Sciences Dean, Dr. Blaine Hudson, who died earlier this year. Blaine was a great visionary and deeply committed to his hometown of Louisville. It is because of Blaine's vision, as well as the commitment to equity held by the leadership of JCPS, that we are here today. I was pleased to lead the team that Acting Dean of Arts and Sciences, John Frey, assembled last summer to carry forward Blaine's vision. Over the past year, we developed the Graduate Certificate in Diversity Literacy that is an essential element of the JCPS Teacher Cards program. I now want to introduce Blake Hazelton, Interim Dean of the University of Louisville's College of Education and Human Development. Blake has worn many hats. He has been a principal, a guidance counselor, athletic director, coach, biology teacher, and was superintendent of Oldham County Schools for 13 years. And more recently, he has added college dean to that long and impressive list. We are very lucky to have him at the helm of our education college. Blake?
Well, thank you very much, David. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and share just a few thoughts with you. You've all heard about the power of partnerships. And in my role at the university, I've been very fortunate to see the JCPS U of L partnership in action every single day. I'm especially pleased with the progress that we've made with JCPS and the Signature Partnership Initiative, which includes Atkinson, Portland, Western Middle School, Central, and Shawnee High School. And this initiative just adds to that opportunity that we have. There's no other college in the university that works more closely with JCPS than the College of Education and Human Development at U of L. While all of our programs and partnerships with JCPS are rewarding, the JCPS CARDS program is especially exciting because of the potential impact it has on K-12 students, and that impact can be almost immediately. I want to thank, and they've been thanked earlier, but I want to thank again Dr. Hargens for her continued collaborations with U of L. I also want to mention that although Dean Hudson isn't physically present with us today, I think the legacy that he left at University of Louisville will carry on in many ways, this being one of them, and touch a lot of people. I also want to thank the Gaines Foundation for their financial support of the teachers and the teachers themselves for the time and effort that they're putting into the program. We know they'll have an impact on their students. As David mentioned, I was once a biology teacher. In many ways, I think I still am. When you teach biology, you teach life, and we all experience that. When I first started teaching, I learned quickly that the very best teachers, the ones that I tried to model, are those who connect with students. If a teacher cannot connect with students, and by that I mean have mutual respect and a relaxed dialogue, then he or she may not be speaking to anyone else in the same language. That's why the JCPS Teacher Cards program is so powerful. A teacher who graduates with both a master's degree in education and a diversity literacy certificate is going to be well prepared to connect with students from all backgrounds and cultures, abilities, interests, and motivations. We're excited to be part of the program. Look forward to welcoming the first group of JCPS Teacher Cards students back in just a few weeks. I want to especially thank Dr. Shelley Thomas, a professor in our Department of Middle and Secondary Education, for all of her hard work and effort. She's worked extensively with Arts and Sciences and JCPS to get this program up and running. I also want to recognize John Marshall, as did Dr. Hargens, for his, I think, I don't know an adjective that would describe it, somewhere between persistent initiative and just effort to continue to not only start initiatives, but to monitor them, support them, and see them through. I'm sure everyone is eager to hear from the student. You've heard from us, and we're fortunate to have Erin Berry, who is one of the very first teachers to enroll in the JCPS Teacher Cards cohort, and I think Erin is going to enlighten us with some of her thoughts. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction. I'm Erin Beery. I teach 6th grade social studies here at Western Middle School, and I am so honored to be a part of this first cards cohort. Mr. Marshall asked me to speak today, and I wondered why I was selected when I look out at the cards cohort and just filled with teachers who are published writers, who have won awards from prestigious universities, and just phenomenal educators. So I truly am honored to be selected. So thank you to Mr. Marshall from JCPS and Dr. Shelley Thomas and the Gaines Foundation as well for this opportunity. I'm truly so excited. Mr. Marshall just asked me to speak a little bit about myself and my own journey to teaching. So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I really struggled in school, and you can ask Mr. Lattimore, and he can attest to that. But I was a kid who really struggled in K through 12 schooling. And I went to University of Louisville. I got a degree in history, and I really threw myself into my coursework, loved it. And I really felt a calling to work with young people, but my own struggles in school kind of led me with a little bit of reluctance to enter the classroom. But eventually I could no longer ignore what I felt was a true calling to teach, and so went back to U of L, earned an MAT in their graduate program there, and graduated with honors and awards, and really felt super prepared to enter my classroom. Now, as a fairly new teacher, you know, while I felt very prepared by my U of L program, I recognized that there are areas that I need growth in, and I think that many teachers would agree that, you know, we need to keep working. And I think teachers are pretty self-reflective, and when we look and we see, you know, why are there gaps in our students' achievement? Why are we doing the best for every single child? And I'm so excited about this CARDS program that I think that through this diversity training, I think that through our education with teacher leadership, I think that we will rise to meet and make sure that every student does achieve. I'm not used to news conferences, so I'm used to 6th graders, so some 6th graders right over here. So anyway, so yes, I think that we are pretty a self-reflective bunch, certainly all teachers and especially these CARDS folks. And at Western, though, we have an emphasis on solutions-oriented. So we don't just ask the hard questions, why aren't all kids achieving at the same level? Why are some students struggling? Are we doing the best we can for every kid? At Western, we like to go beyond. We are very solutions-oriented. And I think that this training that we receive through the CARDS program, I think that that is part of the solution. So I'm so excited, and I'm so honored, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this very solutions-oriented program. And I know that we will be working towards our JCPS goal of excellence for every child. So thank you so much.
The question was how many people applied. Out of the 6, we had about 40 to 45 teachers that applied for the program. We were very selective, and we wanted to hire teachers that kind of already had a lens for inclusion and diversity and expand that. We understand that this is a small group, but most things start with a small number and expand. So we were very selective, and like I said, it started with about 35 to 45, and we ended up with 6. But I screened Mandy Simpson, Christy Linear, and some other ones we screened, and then we called and did interviews. It is our hope that it will continue. We believe where there's a will, there's a way, so we definitely understand the power of this. The cost, the Gaines Foundation has covered it. We're not really clear on how much it costs, because as you can see, some of these are already scholars and have a lot of certifications and classes already under their belt. So we haven't finalized the cost, but the Gaines Foundation, thanks to Carl Thomas, has already covered all of it. Yes. One of the skills that we are very, very serious about, and Dr. Thomas or Dr. Owen can speak to this as well, is the understanding of language, not the verbal language, but the body language and the culture that comes in. One of the interview questions was, does culture stop at the door for students? Anybody that said yes, they're not here. What we understand is that culture comes into the classroom, and we need teachers that understand what that culture is. Now, whether they're all from Louisville and they're not foreign born, we understand that there's different cultures per family. And what we're trying to do is establish a curriculum and an understanding of this is what we need to understand, this is what we need to measure, and this is what we need to include in the classroom.
So my name is Shelley Thomas, and I'm in the Department of Middle and Secondary Education at U of L. I'm also a former JCPS teacher. So one of the things that I came to understand, especially as a teacher in a classroom of diverse students, and I'm a white middle-class female, I am a typical teacher, teaching in a system within 50 miles from where I grew up. But what I had to understand that in addition to having strong pedagogical skills, the things you learn in the College of Education, I needed to understand my students. I needed to understand their backgrounds. And not only that, I needed to understand the context in which they were growing up. So they'll learn quite a bit, and then with the help of arts and sciences and those professors and those courses, they'll learn quite a bit about the backgrounds of our community and the issues that are at hand that affect all of us. And while they're learning simultaneously, the pedagogical skills that make for excellent teachers. So one of the big hallmarks of our program is our coaching and mentoring. Teacher leadership involves coaching and mentoring other teachers. And we have a national, one of our faculty members, Dr. Maggie McGatha, is nationally known for her teacher coaching research and development. So that'll be a huge part of their program. So one of the things we know, and this is educational researchers, know that all children want to learn, and their families want them to learn. But there are cultural clashes that happen because of differences in perspectives that come from our racial backgrounds, that come from our language backgrounds. And so there's the mismatches cause some of the conflicts. And understanding that these conflicts are things and these differences are actually opportunities to build from. And by working in a cohort, we're able to kind of maximize that. They're all experts already, and they will also lend their expertise to others at the university. I think David mentioned that there will be professionals across different programs at the university who will take their classes, and so it's a collaborative effort. It's a collaborative effort to help us understand each other. We all bring our own strengths to the program, and we all try to understand the backgrounds of the students and what they bring, and see those. The important part thing is to see those as opportunities.